allow people a comfort zone and not that tense environment like we're used to in the classroom or even on a job. Because sometimes when you're in a job setting, you're pressed to do the best you can. So my style is intentional. And so I'm gonna allow us to go back and forth with our thoughts when we go through some of the things that affects us in our environment. So the background on networking, you pretty much wanna make time for it. When we talk about time, we think we have to stop everything and just focus on that, and that's what it's not for networking. You literally are networking when you open your mind and your focus on who you're communicating with, who's in your environment. So for example, later on I will give examples. Being at a doctor's office, would anyone think that you can network at a doctor's office? If you would just go at a doctor's office, you wouldn't think, oh, I can network here, correct? But with specific thoughts going into networking, you can network anywhere. And so the definition of network is truly building communication and sharing and giving information, getting information. One of the traditional approach to networking that really allows very little outcome is when you only want to go somewhere to get something. So quite often they would post an event, they would post, something that's happening, and the first thing that we think to ourselves is, what can I get from it? Well, what I want to share with you today is it's not only about getting something, but it's about what can you give. You don't have to give to everyone there, but maybe you would want to choose one or two people that you relate to then what? Get something and give something. So at least I'm saying, and most of my colleagues would say, you want to network at least once a week. And this is not necessarily being all dressed and going somewhere with some heels on or some professional clothes on, but it's the conscious effort that is in the mind of what your intentions is. You also want to do networking in your everyday conversations. So let's take a look at the second bullet point where it says examples of where you can have conversations. Let's talk about people that you look up to. For example, some of you work with Spencer, there may be other people in your environment that knows a little bit more than you, is a little bit more experienced, or is cross-trained. It may be something that you're interested in going into later on in your life. It's just having a conversation. Point two, at an event. An event is usually where we network because that is the traditional networking. Number three, a YouTube video. Read an article or some form of staying in the know. Can someone tell me, what do you think of YouTube as networking? Does that make sense? What's your thoughts on that? And getting information. I'll tell you, a lot of times you find your mentor, you find people that are like you by listening to their stories, by reading their articles, and you're getting information indirectly. Another thing is, when you're done from getting that information, you're giving back because you're going to give yourself knowledge, you're going to give yourself strategies and structures like I listed in my book. You're going to give yourself new goals, realignment of your thoughts. So it is an informal networking, it's just that you're doing the receiving and you're also doing the giving on your own pace and time. So it's not a set environment. Let's go to point number, the reason why I made mention of YouTube and staying in the know, it's just one example, and I use social media because everybody is doing social media these days. You want to stay in the know because for you to be able to market yourself and for you to be able to be confident in who you are and what you're attaining, what you're doing, you want to see what's really going on currently. What is somebody else thinking? What are they saying? What is their current experiences? Does that make sense? So people's articles, people's new developments, their new ideas gives you a better swing to what you will deal with every day or into your future. Let's take a look at pointer number two. You want to think about who you are connecting to. I need somebody to tell me, why do you want to think